Good morning. I'm Mark Cooper, a proud member of this spiritual community. And we just had a 10-year anniversary. I want to just shout it out. Morgan Cooper turned 10 yesterday. Woo! So it was 10 years ago that we had our baby shower, and many people in the community were involved at our shower. So I just want to thank everyone for fantastic. We haven't changed a bit. I want to thank everyone for a fantastic 10 years.
And Morgan hasn't changed at all either.
Morgan has not changed at all either. And she's on her way out. We'll give her a huge round of applause in just a second. But while we're waiting for Morgan to come out, let's take a second to turn off your cell phone, your pager, anything that vibrates or beeps or anything else. And bless you. And let's also take this opportunity to greet your neighbor, and especially greet someone that you have never greeted before, a stranger. Greet an absolute stranger. We're going to take 1 second to greet a stranger. I'm going to find a stranger. Karyl says, okay. We welcome all the newcomers today and the oldcomers as well. The words to the chant, I'm sure, will be on the wall, followed by fantastic announcements and our very own Karyl. Welcome, everyone.
This is a new chant. It's very tricky and very fun. I am the center of divine attraction. All things, all pure and blessed things, all pure and blessed things come to me now. Tricky. I am the center of divine attraction. All things, all pure and blessed things, all pure and blessed things come to me now. Yeah. I am the center
Let's
of
all stand up. Come on. Get the energy going.
All things, all pure and blessed things, all pure and blessed things come to me now. I am the center of divine attraction. All things, all pure and blessed things, all pure and blessed things come to me now. I am the center of divine attraction. All things, all pure and blessed things, all pure and blessed
One last
things
time.
come to me now.
Here we go. Sing it out.
I am the center of divine attraction. All things, all pure and blessed things, all pure and blessed things come to me now.
I think we need one more time to
Yeah,
practice it.
yeah. I am the center of divine attraction. All things, all pure and blessed things, all pure and blessed things come to me now. Woo! So I have to tell you, that's going to be an earworm for you. That'll sing itself for you, and that nothing could be better, right? Because it's the truth. You are a center of divine attraction. And that's what the whole talk is about. I'm going to expound on that. But I'm so excited about it. So let's center in prayer first. Or second or third, after the welcome and after the song, and then the prayer. how good it is to know the center of the universe is at my center. The infinite presence of God that reaches in and through all circumstances, conditions, people, places, things, matter and not matter. That one presence is the source of all. Nothing is made that is not made by the Maker. And so I know that that is that which makes me alive. My life is the life of God. My very being is sourced by the one source. And as I know this for myself, I know this for each person here and each person within the sound of my voice and any person over the eons to come that listens to a recording of this prayer. The truth is, God lives in me, God lives in everyone, and God expresses through the creative process used by us all. For each one of us is a center of divine attraction. By our thinking, by our praying, by our meditating, by the consciousness that we move through our day in, we attract all pure and blessed things. And as we attract all pure and blessed things, no matter what it is that means to us right now, if it means a loving relationship, if it means a home or a new way of getting money in our life, if it means a physical healing, all pure and blessed things come to me now by right of my consciousness, and it is true for each. And so I give my thanks for knowing this and understanding it to the level that I do. And as I repeat it and know it and surrender to that process, it becomes more powerful in me and in each one of us. And so I do, and so it is. Amen. Good morning once again. I know most of you. I'm Reverend Karyl Huntley. I'm the community spiritual leader here. And we have a wonderful treat for you this morning. Bob Gordon is our guest artist. Now, I just want to say a little bit about Bob Gordon, who has been coming here for a number of years. He has taken every class ever offered, I believe. He has been on many, many teams. He is now on our sound team, and he is also a legal advisor to our international organization at the very highest level. And he's ours. What do you think? Please welcome Bob Gordon.
Thank you. The first song I'm going to play today the title is Closer to the Light, and it's a song that was introduced to me by Charlou Roberts, who was formerly a member of this congregation and moved to Los Angeles. She published or collected a lot of songs and published a songbook called Spirit Song, something like that. Anyway, this song grabbed me, and so we're going to play it this morning. So hard for me to say if the road that I'm on now will lead me right. Oh, but year to year it becomes a bit more clear seems like I am getting closer to the light. And when my burden's great, so that I bend under the weight, and it seems like I'm surrounded by the night. Oh, well, I don't mind traveling along this darkened road if I'm traveling closer to the light. Every day I start with this compass in my heart, and it helps to keep the road within my sight. And as I go forth looking for magnetic north, seems like I am getting closer to the light. And when my burden's great, so that I bend under the weight, and it seems like I'm surrounded by the night. Oh, well, I don't mind traveling along this darkened road if I'm traveling closer to the light. Burdens great, so that I bend under the weight, and it seems like I'm surrounded by the night. Oh, well, I don't mind traveling along this darkened road if I'm traveling closer to the light. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Bob. Oh, good morning. I'm Posey Lyon, and I'm the platform practitioner this morning. And I'm just so grateful for this, for all of you being my community. And as usual, we start the announcements with gratitude. And so beyond my gratitude, personal gratitude, I'd like to give a shout out to Francine and to Janet. Where's Janet? Oh, that's right. And is Phil here? So Francine, hi Phil. They have transformed our Learning Center classroom. So when next we are there for a class, it will be totally different than what we've had before. So thank you, thank you, thank you. This has been in the works for a while. And now, is Morgan up there? Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Morgan. Happy birthday to you. And so we bless these magnificent children who bless us with their presence as they go off to teach their teachers. So once again, let's wave to them as they go off to tell the truth about life, because they're still connected with it. So, speaking of being connected, how many of you here have taken classes? How many of you have had your lives changed by classes? So this whole spiritual denomination was starting as a teaching institute by our founder, Ernest Holmes. So sign up for a class. We have 4 fabulous classes coming up. We have, if you have any abundance or prosperity issues, Our own Reverend Karyl will be teaching Prosperity Plus. You can still join. And our beloved Marilyn Letzos, who will be back here next Sunday, will be teaching a class about change. So if you have something that's feeling uncomfortable or calling you, that class might be the class for you. And if you have not taken any of the certificated classes, the Foundation's start date has changed to February 21st, so you have plenty of time to still sign up for that. And Francine will be teaching that. And I will be teaching spiritual practices for daily living. And if you have had the Foundations class, if you want to go more deeply into how to use spiritual mind treatment, which is our form of affirmative prayer, to really change your life, to change it consciously, intentionally, to deepen your understanding of principles, to go, as Reverend Lloyd Tupper always says, to go to the well daily, to listen, to deepen your conscious connection with Source. If any of those things sound at all intriguing, and you want to have fun while going deeper, please sign up today for the Spiritual Practices class. We'll be starting the first Tuesday in February. However, we need to have some heads up to order books for that class. And also you can talk to other people who have signed up for the class already. So please give yourself the gift of one of these classes. If there's anything in your life that could use some support or change or empowerment or transformation, the classes are the place that really can take place. So, also, Barbara's going to talk in just a moment about estate planning, and then Reverend Karyl is going to talk about two other things. So I'm going to turn the mic over, and so when Karyl comes up as our beloved deep speaker and senior minister and mentor, give her a big, mighty hand.
Good morning. I want to talk briefly about the Spiritual Legacy series, which is underway. We have an event coming up this week, and it's for anyone who doesn't have an estate plan and isn't sure if they need one or not, or someone who has an estate plan, but they're not sure if it's right, if it may not reflect who you are now and what your life looks like now, or anyone who would like more clarity on the process of creating a spiritual legacy, of asking spiritual questions to get to the place of what is your right plan. Or it's also for anyone who would consider naming Golden Gate in their own estate plan. And I'm happy to say that I have just put Golden Gate in my estate plan. It's something I've thought about for a long time. And I know it's the right answer for me because I feel joy in my heart. I feel gratitude to this community and how it's changed my life. So this event is called Moving Through Blocks. It's about getting rid of all the emotional stuff in the way to get to clarity of what's right for you. And it takes place this Wednesday night at the beautifully newly refurbished Learning Center. This Wednesday night, Reverend Karyl and I will be facilitating. It's from 7 to 9:30. And please sign up. I'll be at the sign-up table so we know how many to expect. Anything you want to add?
Events table.
Thank you. Over there.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
You can put the mic back. Guys, I have my own.
That's right.
So I have a couple of announcements. You know, Valentine's Day is coming up, and we are going to do our traditional Valentine's Blessing Plus. So if you are a committed couple and would like to renew your vows in the presence of this loving community, it's a beautiful and romantic ritual. Please sign up at the events table because we bring you roses, so we need to know how many roses. So that's for the committed couples. If you are not in a committed relationship, but darn, you wish you were, there will be a portion of the ritual just for you. And if you are not in a committed relationship and not looking for a committed relationship because you haven't healed from the last one, there'll be something for you. And if you are in a committed relationship or not and are pretty darn happy with your relationship learning lodge, there'll be something for you. So it should be, and then, you know, if you're an observer, it will be a free-for-all. So be sure and be here 2 weeks from today for that. And if you want to renew your vows, please sign up. And the next announcement I have is that the memorial service for our beloved Melini is happening on that same, the Saturday before that. So it's the 9th of February. And it will be up at the community, the CCC Community Congregational Church. And we really do want to know how many of you will be there. So think about that. It's at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. And so you can either call the office or there will be a sign-up sheet next Sunday. And I will remind you about this in the letters. We also need about 4 people who will run a shuttle up and down the hill because the parking is so tight at the top that there's a big parking lot at the bottom of the hill. So if you are that person, one of those 4 people, please tell me. So other than that, if you are here for the first time or back after a long time, I warmly, warmly welcome you and hope you feel so much at home that you start calling this home like the rest of us. So that's the announcements. So now I'll accept your welcome. Thank you so much. So my talk today is about this word, focus. The theme for January, and this is the last Sunday, of course, in January. January is the month of conceiving what it is that we will do with our light for the coming year. And we have it unveiled today, our new symbol. This is another Jet Walker, glorious work of art. So, thank you, Jet. So our theme is the new world and the ancient path. So this is a compass with north, south, east, and west. It's also a calendar with winter, spring, summer, and fall. It is the ancient holy wheel of the year of our Celtic ancestors. And there are 52 spokes on this wheel, and the topics will coincide with the energy of the season. So it's going to be a resource for you forever. And you have copies of this available to you on the newcomers table, on the events table, and on the education table. Please take one home. The words that we have so far in the winter, just beginning with planting, not even planting our seeds yet, just conceiving of what the light is that will be coming through us. Purify, remember we did that purifying ritual with those little birch switches. Threshold, where we step into our new year. Partnership, where we acknowledge that we are in partnership with the infinite and anyone else that we choose to create with. And today is about focus. The title of the talk is Finding Focus and Right Momentum. So the altar today is a Gallia Magdalena, beautiful, beautiful environment. And I just want you to know, I get so upset when people leave their coffee cups on the altar. This is not a coffee cup. This is a symbol of focus. There is a kitty here watching a spider. And this is you know how focused those little predators can be. So when we talk about focus today, I love this topic because it is about how we use the creative process. And if you have been in any sort of New Thought community for any length of time, you know that the creative, and if you don't, for goodness sakes, take Foundations. Because it is what we use all the time, whether we are conscious of it or not. We create our own experience of life by the thoughts that we think. And it always begins in thought. And as I was really contemplating the piece of the creative process that I'm going to share with you today, there's an old cartoon of a little scientist at a blackboard. And over here is all of these symbols and numbers and equal signs and pluses and minuses and those, all those other symbols that I've totally forgotten from mathematics. But all of these equation parts, and then here it says, and then a miracle occurs. And then there's this little equals, this little tiny thing that it equals. So that's what happens really in the creative process. This is how our founder, Ernest Holmes, writes about it. Spirit makes things out of itself through some inner act upon itself. Well, if that isn't the most mysterious thing, you just have to take it at face value. But that inner action, what happens in that inner action? That has fascinated me for a long time. A couple pages later, he says, all that happens must happen by and through some inner action, there it is, upon itself. What would be the nature of this inner action? It could not be physical. That's really interesting. And a parenthesis here, it couldn't be physical because that's what the end product is. That's after the miracle. Equation in the unformed realm. Then a miracle occurs. Then the form appears. So it can't be physical as we understand physics, but would have to be by the power of some inner movement of life. That's the way Ernest Holmes described it, and I have a more satisfying story about that. At least it's more satisfying for me. And it comes from Findhorn. Findhorn is a retreat facility in northern Scotland that was started in the 60s when there were people there that spoke to the spiritual beings in charge of various plants. And the speaking, of course, was not on the physical realm. The speaking was in their hearts, and the owners of, actually, they were just a trailer family that had parked on the sand and were trying to grow vegetables in the sand on blustery northern Scotland, unhospitable environment. But they were contacted by the spirits in charge of growing peas and carrots and lettuce. And the spirits that were in charge of the peas and the carrots and the lettuce told them what they needed as far as sunlight, as far as thinning out, as far as water, as far as fertilizing. And they did exactly what they were told. And lo and behold, they grew cabbages this big. That is documented. So, as you can imagine, there were lots of people that came to visit and tried to figure out what was going on, and all they did was pray and listen to the fairies. And then a whole workshop and retreat facility grew up around them, and there was lots and lots and lots of produce that grew. So there's books written about this, and I'm going to read to you from a transmission from what they called the Apple Deva. This was the spirit of the apple tree. So she's talking about an apple coming from a blossom. If you could see more of how this is brought about by the chain of life, wonder would lift you high. As from the seed a tree grows, so from the seed idea a pattern issues forth from the center, passed on by silent ranks of angels, silent and still, because the idea is still too unformed and unfixed to endure any but the most exacting care. Then the pattern is passed on to the elements, the makers of form. They give of themselves to clothe the pattern. Then, at the appropriate opportunity, through the ministrations of the nature spirits, it appears in time and place. This is the Word made flesh. This is all creation, held in balance by great layers of life of which your conscious mind is unaware. You, man, have the fruits, although you do only a small part of the work. May your praise be greater than ours, which never ceases. So what they describe, that Ernest Holmes says, is some inner action upon itself, they put a few more words to, held and balanced by great layers of life of which your conscious mind is unaware, passed on by silent ranks of angels, silent and still, because that idea is still too unformed and unfixed to endure any but the most exacting care. So you don't have to believe in devas or angels or nature spirits or anything, but there is something that passes the idea along and clothes it in flesh. And our part, as they say in here, and as Ernest Holmes says, it's the same thing, our part is relatively small. We hold the idea. The idea is then passed on by unseen hands, or whatever, our language. Well, we don't know exactly how, we don't know how it happened, but we can imagine that it is somehow passed on by some interact upon itself or the hands of the angels, whatever you want to call it, and what was an idea after the miracle becomes form. So, what happens to a grand idea that we don't hold on to for this most exacting care? What happens if we have a great idea and then we say, it's too good, or it's too difficult, and we lose focus? To use the analogy of the apple deva, the angels just go, poof. Oh, okay, we're not working on that. We're working on too difficult. And they, with exacting care, the same exacting care, put form to your idea of too difficult. They don't care what they put their hands to with exacting care, because you get to say the what. So whatever it is that you've been thinking about yesterday and the day before and so far this morning, the unseen hands are working on bringing it forward to clothe it in flesh. Well, let that sink in. So, how many of you actually believe that your thoughts have something to do with your experience? Okay, fine. So, if we believe that our thoughts do have something to do with our experience, why do we not consciously create our lives in expansion and magnificence? I have an answer. The answer is, in my experience of my own life and witnessing yours, is that our habits are stronger than our belief in our creative capacity. Our habits are stronger than our belief in our creative capacity. So it's like our thinking and our environment kind of work together to create sameness, unless we intervene. We wake up the same way every morning, pretty much. Either the cat walks over you, or you have an alarm clock, or somehow the light comes in. You wake up in the same way pretty much every morning. You have a morning routine that's quite similar, I imagine. I mean, unless, Tuesday is cereal day and Wednesday is egg day, but still, it's a pattern. And then you see the same people in your day, and you do very similar things. And the environment is the same day to day, and it affects our mind. So after we go through a day of same, how much has our mind changed? Our mind hasn't changed. And so the unseen hands are still making whatever our habit pattern is of thought. Are you with me here? It stands to reason, right? Joe Dispenza has a new book out. It's called Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself. He's the chiropractor on What the Bleep. So he says, every day as you see the same people, your boss, for example, and your spouse and kids, you do the same things, drive to work, perform daily tasks, and do the same workout, go to the same places, your favorite coffee shop, the grocery store, you frequent your place of employment, and look at the same objects, your car, your house, your toothbrush, even your own body, your familiar memories related to your known world, remind, with a hyphen there, remind you to produce the same experience. You repeatedly reproduce the same level of mind by reminding yourself who you think you are in reference to the outer world. That is how our habits and our environment move together. So to change our experience, we have to go beyond our habits, right? To change our experience, we have to think greater than our environment. And to change our experience, we have to believe in something we do not see. And of course that's challenging because we're used to our environment and our mind working together. Well, this is familiar. Well, this is familiar. Well, this is familiar. And so it's all familiar. And it's not that history repeats itself automatically. Those unseen hands on the invisible side are making it for us just as rigorously as they would make something new if we got out of our regular environment. So I have a great teacher for you. I found a great teacher besides me. The Red Queen from Through the Looking Glass. The Red Queen says, I'm just 101 5 months in a day. I can't believe that, said Alice. Can't you? Said the Queen in a pitying tone. Oh, try again. Draw a long breath and shut your eyes. Alice laughed. There's no use trying, she said. One can't believe impossible things. I dare say you haven't had much practice, said the Queen. When I was your age, I always did it for an hour and a half a day. Why, sometimes I believed as many as 6 impossible things before breakfast. What a great practice, spiritual practice, believing 6 impossible things before breakfast. I challenge you to do that. So the idea of the talk is also about right momentum. Now, right momentum is one of the 8 paths in the Eightfold Path of Buddha. And it means keeping on, keeping on. It means being consistent. It means staying focused. It means looking at your dream and going towards it even though your environment has not changed yet. So the practice is we believe a reality we cannot see and hold on to it until it appears. That's it. You believe a reality you can't see and you hold on to it until it appears. You hold on to it so the precious unseen hands can form it with the most exacting care. So the interaction of life upon itself can make your miracle for you. And then you move the concept, or not you don't, but the unseen hands and the elements and all of those things that you can imagine, move it into the realm of form. Now, how long does this take? I can hear you. How long do I have to believe what I can't see? Because it's challenging. That's why we have practitioners, to help you hold on to it. We have practitioners in this realm and the unseen hands in the other realm. What? I mean, you got it all. So, I don't know for myself if it's taking a shorter and shorter amount of time, or rather, if I've done it enough that I anticipate the small changes and I can see the small changes taking place and I know that it's working. So, what's true is that if you envision your life and your dreams over and over and over, neuroscience tells us our brain changes to that of someone who has experienced the vision we dream of. And when your brain changes to the experience of one who has already experienced what you're pretending to experience, the miracle occurs and the equation happens and the environment changes. This is Joe Dispenza again. The greatest individuals in history were unwaveringly committed to a future destiny without any need for immediate feedback from the environment. It didn't matter to them if they hadn't yet received any sensory indication or physical evidence of the change they wanted. They must have reminded themselves daily of the reality they were focused upon. Their minds were ahead of their present environment because their environment no longer controlled their thinking. Truly, they were ahead of their time. And so one of the examples he gives is Gandhi. Gandhi wholeheartedly endorsed the concepts of equality, freedom, and nonviolence with undying conviction. Although the experience of liberty was not a reality while he was initially engaged in changing India, he did not let the outward evidence of adversity sway him to give up his ideal. He believed in a future that he could not yet see or experience with his senses, but which was so alive in his mind that he could not live any other way. He embraced a new future life while physically living his present life. And eventually, reality began to change as a result of his efforts. So, it's holding the vision or the dream, letting the unseen hands work, holding the vision or the dream so that your own neuroscience changes to the person that has that life, and then the life will appear. Now, I know it sounds like a miracle, and in the experience of it, it is. So I just started teaching Prosperity Plus on Thursday, and it's the 4th time that I've gone through it. And one of the first things that we do in that class is write a vision of our life and keep reading it. So I have done this 3 times, and the vision of my life has shifted and changed. I haven't done it since early last year. It's been almost a year. So at the end of 2012, I made a list of all of the things in my life that have changed because of the vision that I wrote. This is it. And this is what's already happening in 2013. This is what happened in 2011. So what happens is you write your vision, you read your vision to yourself, you believe your vision, and the universe rushes to you with presents. Now, here are some of the things that happened for me that I didn't do. I was invited to speak in Seattle and do a workshop and sell my product. I was invited to speak in Tucson and do a workshop and sell my products. Same thing in Eugene, Oregon. I was invited to do a personal ritual for a friend of Melanie's my daughter, who was going through a medical procedure. Her mom asked me to do a ritual for her. I was asked to be the ritual chairman at our convention that's happening in February. And with Mary Cosgrove's help, who is living her dream, she called up this guy in this newspaper in Marin who had just graduated from journalism school and was living his dream, and I got a 2-page spread about the solstice for nothing, for writing down my dream of being a shifter of consciousness by means of ritual. Oh, and I published this book. So, here's the way you do it. You want to know how to do it? Okay? It's really pretty simple. You ask yourself, what would I love? And you actually go a little bit deeper than, well, I would love a new car, and although that's fine too, but I would love a new relationship. But when in your life have you felt ecstatic? When in your life have you felt the most useful? If you had all of the time in the world and money was no object, what would you love to do? And if you have something that comes to you, and the next thing that it says is, well, you can't do that. That takes too much time, and you can't change careers now, and da da da. The unseen hands are there, ready to take your dream or your doubt. They're ready to take your dream or your doubt. And so it's easy to have the world correspond to your thinking and to have your brain change because of your thinking. Henry David Thoreau writes, if one advances confidently in the direction of their dreams, endeavoring to live the life they are imagining, one passes an invisible boundary. All sorts of things begin to occur that never otherwise would have occurred. One begins to meet with a success unexpected in common hours. Now, the success unexpected in common hours is when the universe starts delivering things that meet your dream. Where all of a sudden it's like the unseen hands are saying, I got it for you. Here it is. Just call this guy at the newspaper. Just call these people in Tucson. Just call this person in Seattle. It's all done for you. It's all done for you by the unseen hands. Your part is to imagine the dream that you would like to live and hold it long enough for the unseen hands to start making it for you. So, in correspondence to our theme, the New World and the Ancient Path, I count Gandhi as the past part, even though he's not ancient. But the new part of the New World, this book here, this Pronoia, any of you that would like a slightly to rather significantly irreverent look at consciousness, this is your book. And we'll have them in the bookstore. But the author has just talked about Dr. Martin Luther King and Dr. Martin Luther King's I Have a Dream. So I am reading you some of the his dreams that are not R-rated. You can buy this book and read the R-rated ones yourself. But he says, I have a dream. I have a dream that in the new earth there will be a new Bill of Rights. The First Amendment will be, your daily wage is directly tied to the beauty and truth and love you provide. I have a dream that when anchormen report tragedies on their nightly TV shows, they'll break down and cry and let their emotions show. No more poker faces. I have a dream that in the new earth, every one of us will have at least one imaginary friend, and compassion will be an aphrodisiac. I have a dream that we will expand the meaning of love beyond anything our ancestors imagined. I have a dream that we will take everything we need and give everything we have. I have a dream I'll push my own buttons and right my own wrongs. You'll wake yourself up and sing your own songs. So it just takes focus and some staying power. And maybe some reminders when you get to that place of saying this is too good to be true. A practitioner or a teacher that will tell you, what do you want the unseen hands to be busy with? So let's turn within now and do this inner work. So, with all that we have talked about, I believe that the unseen hands are now applauding you for your new realizations. And so I just ask, what is your vision for the new world? What is your vision for your world? What would you love? You are not your circumstances. You are not your environment. You are so much more than your environment. You are a dreamer. You are a dreamer of worlds that are in the forming stages. You are the dreamer of a world that works for everyone, including yourself. You are a dreamer of a world where love and peace are the norm, where prosperity and enoughness is there for everyone. You are the dreamer of a world where our lessons are learned with really minimum damage to others and a lot of joy for ourselves. And so when you open your eyes and you look at this question right above my head, what would you love? It feels not only possible, but already in the pipeline of the unseen hands working on your behalf for the good of all and the harm of none. Blessed be.
This is a song by Jerry Garcia that shows his spiritual side. If my words did glow with the gold of sunshine, and my tunes were played on the harp unstrung, would you hear my voice come through the music? Would you hold it near as it were your own? It's a hand-me-down. The thoughts are broken, perhaps they're better left unsung. Oh, I don't know, don't really care. Let there be song to fill the air. Where there is no pebble tossed, nor wind to blow. Reach out your hand. If your cup be empty, if your cup is full, may it be again, let it be known. There is a fountain that was not made by the hands of men. There is a road. The thoughts are broken between the dawn and the dark of night, and if you go, no one may follow. That path is for your steps alone. Should stand, then who's to guide you? If I knew the way, I would take you home. La di da la la, la da 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 da, la la. Thank you.
Bob Gordon and Rick Walt on the bass.
You guys are fabulous. They are fabulous, aren't they? That is so great. So,
well, the Grateful Alive.
What? Oh,
we're the Grateful Alive.
So now is the time for our tithes and offerings, and so the ushers are going to get ready, and the rest of us get ready too by either taking out that little card that says I've already pledged, or adding another 0 to your check maybe. Whatever feels right to you. And know that you can't outgive God. And the philosophy that I expounded on works the same way with finances. Just dream. Dream of the abundance that you want for yourself and all of the people that you love. And then you just put that vision into the check or the money or the little card that you give, or just your presence here this morning. And as you give it, know that whenever we give, we create a vacuum that is filled up by something like we have given. And so if you give with love, that's what you get. So if the ushers would please receive the gifts now that are already blessed. You must move in the direction of your dreams. Act as if they've already come true. Through doubts and hopes and fears and wishful schemes. Move in the direction of your dreams. I will move in the direction of my dreams. Act as if they've already come true. Through doubts and hopes and fears and wishful schemes. I will move in the direction of my dreams. We bless the offering here this morning, the loving hearts that gave these gifts. May their love and power and influence be deepened and multiplied as this supply moves through our precious community, paying for the bills and fostering the dreams of expansion and growth, so that this philosophy may be available to all people. Blessed be. So if any of you would like to be a part of an ongoing committee for supporting Bob Plath, Claudia Brisson will be right around the altar here right after the service, and she and you will be putting together a plan for Bob's ongoing support. And then there's all those things for you to sign up for, and all the hugs that you're left to get, and the prayers that you can have right in your ear from our practitioners. So if they'll come forward, I'm going to ask Posey to come up and pray us out. And be sure to come back for February to see what in the world February is going to be about.
Would the rest of the practitioners please surround the room? And I invite each one within the sound of my voice, if you wish, to close your eyes, to go within. So as I breathe in and breathe out, I connect with the indwelling presence, the all that is, that which I choose to call God. Ah, how sweet to remember, to contemplate that there is only God, unconditional love and immutable law coming together, expressing, creating, maintaining, and sustaining itself in and as and through me. There is no God and Posey, there's only God as. That which I am is the beloved place where God shows up. And that is true for everyone for whom I speak my word, and I speak my word now for everyone within the sound of my voice. And so I claim and accept for myself that opening in consciousness and the opening for each one to truly connect, to allow myself, and I claim this for anyone else who wishes it, to go deeper into what is it that is wanting to express as me. What is it that I love to do, that is calling forth expression? I claim and accept for myself that clarity, that knowing, and the focus to move truly in the direction of my dreams. To allow those unseen hands to support and lift me so that my life is transformed and made new from this moment on. Beyond the laws of averages, beyond the habits, beyond what I may have imagined up till now. And if this is also the wish of anyone else in this room or beyond, I invite you to claim it for yourself. And so I release this word with love and gratitude, knowing there is that activity of God moving perfectly in me, as me, through me, by me, to bring this word forth, pressed down, overflowing. I release it to the activity of the law with the absolute certainty that something is moving in and as me, and in and as anyone who has accepted this word along with me. And so I let it be. And so it is. Amen.
So, my darlings, if you would all please stand for our affirmation and closing song. All righty then, up here. I am a center of divine attraction. I call forth good into my life that fills my heart with joy and serves the world. By this calling forth, I am changed into a more positive and powerful version of myself. Blessed be.
Another day.